Hello, 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 and happy 2026. This is your retirement coach diva, Sharon, and I am always excited to spend time with you. And today, we're going to start off our new year with just a conversation between you and me. I didn't even advertise this. I was hesitant on like what I was going to do because normally I have a guest and I didn't have a guest lined up, but today is the second Wednesday of the month, and this is the day that I normally do my casting, my live streams. So I said, I'm still going to do it today, and I'm not going to have a guest. I'm going to have a brief conversation with you. So I'm looking forward to talking about today's topic. But I just want to let you know that 2026 is the year of faith for me. That's my word for 2026. Each year I pick a word and I stick to or try my best to stick to that word in the things that I do, the things that I say, the way that I think, and it empowers me throughout the year. So for this year, my word is faith. And I picked that word because I know that faith means that I can have faith the size of a mustard seed and I can move a mountain, that I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. That's having faith. That what God has for me is for me. And I have faith in that. And that the things that God allows me to do to shape my life, the people that He puts in my path that help me and I can help them, that I have faith that they're going to take me to higher heights in different directions. And if things don't work out the way that I thought that they would, it's still okay because I'm learning through the journey called life. And I'm just going to have faith that things are going to do and the way the things that I pray that they will, and that God will lead me in the right path. So whether you're listening to this live right now in the next few minutes, because I said it's going to be brief, or you're listening to the recording, I know that you too will pick your word for the year and live it with intention and purpose as you move through your path for this year. And so, like I said, this year is the year of faith for me. And so I'm going to change up things a little bit when it comes to my recordings and my live streams. First of all, there are going to be times where it's just going to be me and you. I'm not going to be having a guest all the time. I'm just going to be here to have a conversation with you. And then there are going to be times where I'm going to have a guest. So just be available and I'll probably do it a little more frequently. There'll be times where it's going to be just a recording, and then there are going to be live streams. But I love doing the live streams because I have you all engaging with me. Hi, how are you? Thanks for joining me this evening. I'm so glad that you could be here. And so we're going to get started and talking about from federal paycheck to financial power. We're going to be talking about redefining wealth and retirement. And what I love about this is because I'm a recent retiree from the federal government. And there were some things that I learned through my journey of federal employment and dealing with federal employees and just people in general about their mindset and what they thought about, retirement and being prepared. And we want to talk about what that really means, but we also want to talk about what it really means about preparing for retirement and about life after retirement. So let's get started. One of the things I want to make sure that everybody understands is that retirement does not mean the end of your income. It really means the start of your journey, the start of looking at things beyond what retirement really means, what retirement could be. And for many federal employees, they spend years counting down to that retirement eligibility. I know I did. Like the closer I got to it, the more excited I was. I knew that 2025 was my year of eligibility to meet my minimum retirement age. And I also remember, early on in my career where I had a colleague who sat down and literally counted out the number of days he had to work in order to meet his retirement date. Now, the difference in the two of us is that I loved what I was doing, but I also knew that there was a life for me after retirement where I can continue to enjoy the things that I'm doing, as well as build on those things. And for him, he hated his job. He was looking so forward to just getting out of it and couldn't wait until he became eligible to retire. So that's why he knew the exact number of working days. And what I mean working days is that he sat down and subtracted the holidays, the weekends, the days that he was going to use his vacation until he met that retirement date. And for me, it was just like, I know that on a certain day, I will be eligible. And then I also had in my mind about the day that I really wanted to retire and how I wanted to celebrate that and everything. Some of those things changed for me, but some of them remain the same. And so whether or not you are in a space where you're not ready to retire yet, or you're in a space where, hey, I'm almost there, I can see it, or I am eligible and now what do I need to do? This discussion that I'm having with you right now is for you. Or if you're listening to the recording, I want you to think about the things that I'm sharing with you and leave some comments in the chat about what we're talking about. So let's get started with what I was saying before about how the federal employees and employees in general, think about when they're eligible to retire. But many of them do not think about what retirement actually looks like, what life actually looks like once they stop working, once they stop receiving that biweekly or monthly or bi-monthly paycheck. Usually there is some confusion, there's stress, there's fear that might show up because they don't know what they're really going to do. They're just saying, hey, what am I gonna do when I retire? I don't think I'm gonna stop working because what am I going to do? I'm just going to sit home and not do anything. I think I'm just going to keep on working because it's something to do, or they're so connected to the mission that they don't want to leave it, or they don't want to be home with a spouse or family or by themselves. But there's so many things that we can think about that's outside of that financial realm that we can really look at. What is our purpose? Shifting from receiving that paycheck to how we can have financial power, clarity, and peace in that next journey of our life after we're working. So let's redefine what wealth is for a moment. Wealth is not a pension or annuity. Wealth is not your TSP or 401k balance. It's not that Social Security check. Wealth is also peace of mind. Wealth is also freedom of choice. Wealth is also confidence in your decisions. And the wealth is also the ability to live on your own terms. So here's a question for you to ponder. What does wealth mean to you beyond the money? For me, it was the freedom to do the things that I had planned on doing for so many years, continuing to meet people, network, build my business, share ideas, help educate, help promote, volunteer, be a part of the growing up of my grandchildren more, being more involved with my children as much as I can, and just being able to be out in the world and learn and explore more. That was what wealth was to me, and doing these things after retirement. Because if you think about it and you plan your retirement, only around the question, can I afford to retire? And you don't think about, how do I want to live? Then something is going to be missing for you in those retirement years. Your retirement should support your values, your health, your relationships, and your purpose, not just your bills. So before you sit down with that counselor, with that retirement specialist, with that financial planner or advisor, and look at the numbers, think about how you want to design your life. Because the money means nothing if you're not living with a purpose, if you're not living with intention, if you're not living with faith. So here's some questions for you to ponder. Ask yourself, how do I want my days to feel? Do you want to feel like aggravated and unhappy, bored, or excited and have enthusiasm and peace? Ask yourself, what do I want more of? Is it flexibility? Is it rest, spiritual, emotional, psychological? Is it travel, having fun, spending time the way you choose to, whether it's with family and friends or just alone at times with yourself and having peace? Here's another question to ponder. If money wasn't an issue, what would you want your retirement life to look like? As a retirement lifestyle coach, I help my clients to determine what that really means and how they can create that plan, that life that they desire, that they so much need, that they deserve. So when you design your life first, the money comes and has a purpose. And that's what you have when you have financial power. So when you think about retirement, we want to make sure that we're not just looking at the money, but we want to look at the emotions as well. When people retire, they may be running away from stress instead of towards purpose. They may be feeling guilty about spending money that they worked so hard for because they just say, I don't want to spend that money yet. I might be taxed on it. Be educated. Talk to your financial planner to know what it is you really need to spend your money on with a 401k, or your TSP, the things that you have in your savings. I definitely want you to make sure that you know how much money you have, how much money you need, and make sure you are doing your budget, not just based on the expenses that you have every day, such as your utilities and your housing and food and transportation and clothing, but those times where, hey, you want to celebrate birthdays, anniversaries, when you want to go on a vacation. How often do you want to go on a vacation? Who else is there that you think that you're going to need to support during your retirement? How is your health? And what additional things that you think might be needed along the way as you're going through life? Because you want to make sure you have those things in place. So it's about purpose, making sure that your retirement is filled with purpose. You do not want to be stressed out, have to take an additional job because you don't have the additional income, but you left a job that you wanted to leave or you had to leave, whichever it was. And now you have to go to another job where you do not really want to be, but because you didn't financially plan. I'm not saying that you should not financially plan. You really should, but it needs to be with a purpose more than just what money they might have, and then you're doing nothing with it. So ponder for yourself this question. Are my financial decisions driven by my confidence in who I am and what I want to do of purpose? Or is it driven in fear that you may not have enough, or you don't want to spend what you have because you may not have enough later? It's either you don't have enough now, or you feel like you might not have enough later. Ponder that question for yourself. Because when fear is in the driver's seat, money decisions feel very heavy and weighted on us and make us feel down and not being able to understand. But when we have clarity in that driver's seat, when it comes to our money, it becomes the tool that it actually is and not the burden that we place on ourselves. Many federal employees and those in the private sector don't realize that your job title, right? Our job title is tied to us. As a federal employee, we are civil servants. I still feel to be a civil servant. Servant is the key word. And as a civil servant, we know that we have a mission. And so when we leave that employment, that mission still is with us, but we can direct it in other ways where we're not still introducing ourselves by the titles that we had as our employment, such as director, chief of staff, program manager, HR specialist, biologist, anthropologist, whatever it is that what our titles were as federal employees and still are for some of us. We can't constantly live in that or introducing ourselves as that because we weren't born in those titles. So let's connect to who we really are outside of those titles, because one day we're not going to be in those positions anymore. So a question to ponder: who are we? And I'm saying we because I am in that category too. I still at times introduce myself as a retired federal employee, and I know I am more than that. So who are we without the title? Who are we? We are mothers, we are daughters, we are sisters, we are brothers, we are sons, we are cousins, we are nephews and nieces and friends, we are husbands, we are wives. We are more than the title that we've connected to that job. We are entrepreneurs and business owners. We are traveling the world. We are doing so much. We're preaching and teaching and educating. We are so much more than the title we had with that job. Retirement brings freedom, but it can bring uncertainty. And those are normal emotions that we will have when those uncertainties and fears come up. So things that will help us is to understand our money habits, maybe changing our money mindset from scarcity to having faith, knowing that things can be taken care of. Changing our money mindset to knowing that we can leverage other avenues. Building a business. I'm big on entrepreneurship. But if you need to take another job, then look at something that you know that you have passion for and being able to help others. If you want to spend time and do something else, then volunteer. We also want to make sure that we're managing any anxiety that comes around spending money. If you go into a store, and I've done this, I like certain name brand items, and there are times when I'm like, I'm gonna go to the store. and see if I see something that I like. And if I don't see it, then I'm going to leave the store. And I have done that. I don't just say, well, I'm just going to buy something because I'm in the store. I'll leave the store. But I also have done where I've seen something and I think about, do I really need this right now? I want it right now. Do I need it right now? And if I don't need it right now, and I'll leave the store and say, if I come back, then I'm gonna get it. 9 out of 10 times I don't go back at that time. And then when I do go back, it's gone. So that means that I'm, managing my money, make my money mindset on the things that I want versus the things I need, and building confidence in the choices that we have and the choices that we make when it comes to our money. When we retire, we don't retire from who we are redefining it. So, a couple of things I just want to leave with you today is that you spend your decades building your career. You spent decades doing that. And your retirement deserves to have the same intentional design. You probably went to school and became educated to do the job that you did, or you learned on the job to be the professional that you have become. Your retirement life should be the same way. Not just the financial portion of it, but your entire lifestyle. It's holistic. Financial security keeps you safe. Financial power gives you choices. And so making sure that your mindset around your finances and your lifestyle all align with your passion, purpose, values. And that your retirement is not a decline. It is not that you are leaving something that, behind a life that it's like, you might not have liked that job, but what you're going to, you want to make sure that it has purpose, that is better for you than where you were before. I know now, I feel like I have a whole nother career that I can build the way I choose to build it. And that's just what I'm doing. You have a new season that's full of wealth, peace, harmony, tranquility, excitement, some fear, some anxiety, but it can be with confidence and with purpose. So I leave this final question for you to ponder. What is one small step that you can take this month, January 2026, to move from the paycheck mind thinking to a financial power thinking of purpose, passion, and values? I want to thank you for listening today to the Royal Nugget podcast. Like I said, I can't wait to share with you all the stuff that's going to happen in 2026. There are going to be webinars and programs and exciting guests, and I'm going to be just talking to you like this sometimes. So until we meet again, I want to say to you to protect your peace, honor your worth, and design your future with purpose. You all have a great remainder of your day, and see you next time. Bye-bye.